Hey friends, Dave at Fitness Devolution, bringing you a workout today with our good friend Miria. Miria has been training with us now for, I don't know, maybe 2 months. And we're kind of just getting to the point where we're doing a full 35-minute workout with her. I think she's really doing great. It hasn't been easy. Miria, as most modern people, have a very weak core. And it's still very challenging for her. She's got a ways to go yet, but what I'm going to attempt to do today with this video is describe what we're doing a little bit and try to give a gentle critique of form and technique and give some coaching on where Miria and anyone else who's kind of struggling with these movements, what they need to be doing and how to basically tighten up the form and the core. So as always in this particular workout, this will be the kettlebell and mace outdoor workout. In case you're wondering, we start with 2 sets of kettlebell swings, and Miria is doing a good job with the kettlebell. What I would encourage her to do is try to get more power out of the lower body. A lot of this power is coming from shoulder lifting, and I don't see very much hip power or knee power where we're getting the lower body moving and it's causing the kettlebell to swing up on its own. So otherwise, kettlebell form is not bad. She's not lifting up off her heels. She's tracking pretty even through the shoulders. If Miria went up 5 or 10 pounds on the kettlebell weight, she would be kind of forced to get the power from where it really needs to be coming from. All right, next up is, and this is a great core and glute quad exercise, and it's something that Miria has been struggling with, the deep squat, since we started, and she's gotten dramatically better. At first, Miria was very much in a turtle position with her back rounded over, could not get her butt down. Her shoulders and butt were almost at the same level. Now she's, I almost said very comfortable. I would say she's seemingly very comfortable now with the butt down, chest, torso vertical, and chin up. She's able to look around and see what's going on. And that is exactly the direction that she needs to be progressing in. So that has come along really well. This is a complex movement cycle. I call it a push-up jump-up with a kettlebell snatch. It's kind of a variation on a burpee, but not fast and crashy and thrashy. This is super challenging for almost everybody that tries it, and Miria is no exception. The push-up's tough. The jumping in part is tough. It really requires a pretty good bit of core stability and the ability to snap the legs and feet in and get the butt going up as the feet come under. So as you can see right there, the feet, the spirit was willing, but the feet just didn't quite clear underneath the hips 100%. This is something that when we look back in a month or two, Miria will be flying through these with grace and agility, and that's what we're going for. All right, so this is Miria's first week of swinging the mace with us. We did one workout before this one that basically didn't load properly. So this is her second day with the mace, also really looking good. Not 100% yet, but as you all know, I've been swinging the mace for almost 3 years now, and I go through spells where I just seemingly cannot do it to save my life. Today, I'm happy with this mace swing. I took a 2¼ pound plate off. All of a sudden, everything just clicked, and I'm happy with this form. I'm getting deep in the back, deep in the front. I'm not over rotating to the point where it's falling forward. Miria is still, it's like juggling 5 balls at once. Sometimes over rotating, sometimes under, forgetting to pull down to the last minute, and then, but that's okay. I figure you probably have to swing the mace a few thousand times before you start to get a rhythm and get a feel. So Miria, again, doing really well. A lot of natural ability here. She has not hit herself yet with the mace that I'm aware of. So that's really saying something. The first time I swung, I hit myself in the back of the head. She has not done that yet. So we'll probably go up on weight a little bit over the next week or so. I think Miria's only got 2¼ pounds on there, or maybe 5. It's light, but it's safe, and that's where we need to be for now. Okay, up next is leg lifts with a hip thrust. This is something that I've been working on for, again, almost 3 years. It's getting easier and better, and I'm feeling more in control. And you'll see with Miria, she's relying an awful lot on the momentum of throwing her legs up to get any kind of hip thrust, because there's just nothing in the core really yet that can get the hips up off the ground. But you got to start somewhere, and I'm not criticizing other than observing that we show this a progression here going forward. You'll see that Miria will develop some core strength, and she'll be able to do more of what I'm doing, where the legs are in control and the hip thrust happens a little more fluidly and a little less reliant upon just inertia. A fine point to work towards is having hand freedom while you're doing this. This is another movement cycle that I started doing over 2 years ago that is very ungracefully called squat, kneel, plank, bridge transitions. Starts with a deep squat to a kneel, back to the deep squat, then your push up. Now you roll over into sort of a modified bridge, back to your plank, push up, jump your feet in. So there's a lot of components here that require strength and stability. This is super challenging for Miria, and you can see a little bit of wobble, and that is exactly what we want to be working on. And as Miria's core strength comes up, the wobble will go away, and she will be able to flow a little more fluidly. She's been doing these now with us maybe 2 months. Definitely I see a big improvement, but still room to get better. I really am proud of Miria. Okay, everybody knows what a lunge is. We're going to do lunges mixed with mace swings. This is adds a nice challenging component to the lunge, having the mace in the low rest position. And you can see with Miria, the stability is an issue, but you kind of quickly, in a sense, learn to use the mace to help stabilize as you go down in the mace. And we're doing a rear stepping lunge here. And I think that's a little easier when you're holding the mace. So I'm doing a front stepping lunge. Alrighty, next up is push-ups, hands up. Kind of a challenging way to do push-ups. It's a little bit slower than you see people banging out often on YouTube or on TV. You basically go all the way down, resting on the floor, the ground. Extend your arms out or just lift them up. So you're basically not able to bounce at the bottom of your movement. So you have no kinetic energy to get back up. You're starting from a dead stop. And this is tough. Miria and I are doing this on our fists most of the time. And this adds about another 3 inches of depth to the push-up, which makes it even harder still. I would encourage you to try these if you're feeling like push-ups are not a challenge, or you want a different kind of push-up challenge. Push-ups, hands up, either on your hands or your fists, is a great thing to do. Fists. All right, this is a basic kettlebell movement, kettlebell clean and press. Miria's been working on this movement with us for a while, and she's got a pretty decent form here. Her kettlebell rack position is basically at her shoulder, which considering her build, I think that's probably appropriate, and I don't think I would change anything about that. I want to encourage her to have a soft landing as much as possible when the kettlebell comes to rest on her forearm. But her movement is nice and smooth, and she's getting some leg involvement on the push press, and I think that's totally good. Down the road, maybe go up a few pounds. That was just totally fine. All right, this is round 2 of kettlebell clean and press. So we'll see if the form changes any now that there's a little bit of fatigue. It still looks pretty good. So when Miria listens to this, I want you to, when your arm starts getting tired, use your other hand to mirror that hand or go up parallel to the lifting hand. Just in case your muscle gives out, you will not hit yourself in the chin or the nose or the forehead with the kettlebell. So no shame in having that hand ready. I'd rather have it right there and not be injured. So 2 Mace swings and a deep squat. It's surprisingly hard to get the Mace down in the low rest position or low rack position. It tends to want to float up, but a big part of the value of this comes in getting your arms extended down towards your waist or lower if possible. Having the Mace out front gives you a little bit of counterbalance in the deep squat. That's kind of why we do it this way. But you want to get your hands going in that full range of motion, all the way from low belly to behind your back, almost touching your shoulders with the Mace. That's where you really get the value of this movement. Mace hold, no swing. I call this movement kneel squat thruster with Mace. There is no Mace swinging involved. We're basically just holding it steady. And my forearms were toast at this point, so I'm kind of cheating by having a wide space grip, but that's okay. The movement is kneel, come to a deep squat, keeping your butt low the whole time, and shoot up to your vertical position and thrust the Mace up overhead. Looks easy, really challenging. Takes a lot of stability. All right, next up are good old basic kettlebell snatches, and we're going to do 3 on a side. I don't like to overwork one side. Generally speaking, I do a reasonable number of snatches and then change hands. Miria's only been doing a snatch movement now for a couple of weeks. She's doing it pretty nice and clean. That one wasn't super beautiful. I haven't really taught a hard style snatch, so she's got a nice. She's falling a little, dropping a little hard there. We'll have to work on that downswing to protect her shoulder. The up movement is actually pretty good. She's doing that pretty nicely. As you all know, we spend a lot of time in a plank position or a variation of a plank, and this workout's no different. And this is something that perhaps is one of the most challenging things for Miria. She's gotten much stronger in the wrists and forearms. At first could not hold this for more than a second or two. The fact that in the middle of this workout she's able to hold this long is quite an improvement. I know she's beginning to fatigue here, but still, this is quite impressive, especially if you've never tried this. You don't really know what's going on here. She's able to stay loose and free of tension from the shoulders down, which I think is good and not easy to just keep focused on the arms and shoulders. So this is something that just takes time. The results and the benefits are significant for the core. and the shoulders and the forearms and the hands. So she's doing a good job here. Again, can't say how proud I am to see this kind of progress. I'm all for taking a breather and letting the blood flow and just taking some of the strain off and then popping back up and going another 5 or 10 or 15 seconds. That's the way you make progress. And we're doing an inchworm. There's a couple ways to do this. Basically, it's a walk out on your hands, full push-up, full range of motion, not a little bounce, not an elbow pulsation, into a sit-out. And the goal here is to come to a clean, deep squat position where you're stable. I don't want to start the sit-out, say, from the middle of your walk back. I want you to get your butt down all the way, just like that. Sit out and very cleanly transition. So the challenge for Miria is to be able to get her feet up high enough, and that's where some core strength comes in so that you can make that transition without scraping the floor. All right, next is a little bit more advanced kettlebell swing cycle or swing sampler. We do 4 different kettlebell swings on each side, and then we change hands. So it consists of a one-hand swing, a clean, a high pull, and a snatch, and then you change hands. The goal here is to obviously keep going. Do a nice solid clean, and on your high pull you want your hand to be kind of in line with your elbow or even below it, and then punch it out hard. Let's see if I do it here. Should punch out. Yeah, that's what you want. And then of course do a snatch. Okay, everyone who's seen any of my videos has seen the kneeling incline pose. This is a static position that I got off of Sonny Pazika's The Forge video. Towards the end of a workout, this is an extremely challenging thing for me still, even after having worked on it for 2.5 years. It is a thing of joy. If you haven't tried it, you don't know what you're missing. This section is a repeat of our kettlebell swing sampler. Just like before. Miria's got to work on her control of the kettlebell in the downswing. With 20 pounds, she's letting it fall a little fast and trying to catch it at the bottom. She's probably okay shoulder-wise, rotator cuff-wise with this weight, but with any more weight, she risks irritating that rotator cuff. So she needs to work on controlling that downswing at the bottom in particular. All right, kettlebell halos are kind of a substitute for mace swinging. If you don't have a mace, I would suggest that you start doing these and start doing them just like we're doing them. A deep, deep low rack position, basically waist level or below. You want to get your arms pretty much straightened out. So a big part of the power that you're generating here is coming from the bicep to get the kettlebell moving from that low rack position. And once you kind of get it moving, it goes around your back, and all of a sudden you're transitioning into a pretty good tricep extension in the back there. And the entire time your shoulders are operating in a somewhat circular way. So this is a great preparation for mace swinging, and the squat just makes it even more lovely.
Woo-wee.
And again, I can't say enough about how proud I am of Miria. She's on her fists at the end of the workout. There's some gas left in the tank here, I see. That is a great sign. And plank leg swings are tough. It's like doing a plank hold, but you're in motion, and it really fatigues your core even more because of the rotational and torsional components of moving the legs. So this is a 2-minute section here. So to give them a break from the leg swings, we're going to do a front kick through. Not really a break, but maybe mentally a break because you're doing something different. Plant that hand, kick through, and sit down just above the deck. You want to get down low. Bring it back, repeat on the other side. This is super challenging, and Miria's core at this point is toast, and deservedly so. So we're just about to the end. We're going to try to finish it out with a few more plank leg swings, and like a trooper, Miria is going to do it with us.
Nicely done, ladies. Nicely done.
And I know that feeling. So congratulations, Miria. Excellent job. Excellent job. All right, next up is a behind the back kettlebell pass. Swing it to the shoulder and do a deep squat. This is challenging to the core because you're basically loading one side of your body pretty heavy. And looks like Miria is mad at me. She's throwing the kettlebell, even though she's doing a good job. I encourage you to do just what Miria is doing here. Keep both hands on the kettlebell unless you're really confident that you have it under control. If you're really confident you can do your press one-handed, it really requires some stability in the shoulder and the wrist. All right, we are in the home stretch here. This is our last section, and it is what I call squat burpees. It's a slow burpee variation. I don't like to do burpees fast, as I've mentioned many times before. You're going to place your palms down from a deep squat, jump your legs back, and jump them back in. Try to get your feet as close to your hands as you can so that you can recover into that deep squat and come up straight up with your head leading the way. You don't want your back flat or rounded. You want a nice vertical torso, as vertical as you can get it. So from here you want to come straight up, head up. Try not to let your shoulders and torso crash or lag behind. All right, Miria has done a spectacular job, so thank you, Miria. Thank you for letting me record this. I hope you enjoy it. For the rest of you folks, I hope this inspires you to get up off your butts, get out of the chair, and get moving.